So I have read the comments. A few of you have reached out to me and asked, how did you develop your chest? What's the method? What's the routine? What exercises you did to get your chest this well pronounced? Now I know chest is probably one of my more dominant features on my body. So I'm going to show you guys the exact method that I use. Now, a lot of you who are new here, you probably think that, well, majority of you, this is a new channel, majority of you think that I've always had this equipment, I've always had this set up, and I built my chest based on that. That is not the case. I only recently got majority of this equipment within the last year. I've only been able to use some of them for a few months now because it was locked away. So for the past, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years, I was focusing on just doing body weight exercises. If you don't believe me, you can go and check my TikTok. You'll see the videos dated from about 2021 onwards. You see the body weight exercises. So I'm going to show you guys the exact method that I use to develop my chest. It's nothing crazy. You don't need no equipment. You just need to have the mindset. So let's go. So you're probably thinking, what's the exercise? Well, guys, it is just push-ups. However, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that quantity is greater than quality. One thing that really helped to develop my chest was focusing on the quality of my push-ups, setting a certain tempo, making sure the range of motion is correct, and trying to perform the best form as possible for the push-up while also keeping the reps reasonably high. So for me, a lot of people do them differently. I like to focus on full range of motion. So if this is my starting position, I'm making sure my core is nice and tight. My butt isn't high in the air. It's not sagging. It's nice. The body is concaved. I feel strong in my shoulders, shoulder width apart. Now, here is the secret. When I come down, I make sure my chest touches the ground and I'm pushing back up. However, it's not a chest touch and then we're rushing. No, it's a good tempo. So it's a touch, push up, touch, push up. Now, as you see, I briefly pause at the bottom. It's not a long hold. We're not doing isometrics, but you want that brief pause at the bottom. Up, 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 up. This is going to ensure that you take your chest, your triceps, your front shoulder, all through that full range of motion. This way you cannot cheat the reps. So if we've done them really fast and we're just focusing on, eventually the range of motion is going to shorten because we're not focused on the movement. If you are moving something like a bench press or a leg extension, because the weight is heavy, the load is heavy, you focus on every rep, your mind is there. But when it comes to body weight, a lot of people think, well, let me just rush through to get 20 or 30 reps. No. Take the same approach. Control the movement, up. Control the movement, up. You don't have to go super slow on the way down, but we're not flinging ourselves down to the ground. We're making sure that we can feel the tension in our chest, in our triceps, and all the working muscles involved. We're making sure our body position stays the same throughout. We don't start to sag at the hips. We make sure everything is clean, because when we focus on the quality of the movement, the results will always come. Don't rush through it. Don't think that I must do 100 today. No, set yourself a standard. Say I'm gonna do 10 of the best push-ups that I possibly can do, and then you go from there. The numbers will come over time. Don't think I'm gonna do 50 and half of them are good, half of them are okay, and a little bit is no. Quality precedes quantity every single time. And this doesn't mean that your form isn't going to break down as you get more tired, of course, but we still want to maintain a baseline standard. Standards always have to exist. Now, one thing I do want to mention is where my elbows and shoulders are going. So in regards to the push-up, I see a lot of people make this mistake and they flare their arms out to the side, and then they wonder why I'm not feeling it on my chest, I'm not feeling it anywhere else apart from my front shoulder, and they start to develop shoulder pain. That's because you're putting a lot of tension on your shoulder. Ideally we want the arms going back or diagonally. So when I perform them, as you can see, it's either going here, or you can even bring them in closer there. But that is going to reduce the chances of your shoulders, you know, giving way, giving you problems. But once you focus on that, the form and the quality of the reps, the results will be ridiculous, guys. Start off with a good number. Say you, all right, I'm gonna do 5 solid reps, take a rest, then you go 5 again. Forget about what everyone else is doing. Focus on your own journey. I'm gonna show you the next exercise that I did as well to help develop my chest. Now, some may call this an advanced or intermediate exercise. I would probably agree. If you've been doing push-ups for a while, you may be able to do this movement. If you're brand new, you're probably not going to be able to do it, and that is archer push-ups. Now, why are we going to do archers? Because it is a unilateral movement, so we're able to isolate each side of the chest at one time when performing the movement. So the setup, arms out to the side, one arm out to the side, one arm facing forward. That's the way I like to do it, to make sure that I can maintain the correct position. I don't slip or anything like that. And we're just gonna lower ourselves down, push back up. If you can get your chest to the ground, that's great. If you can only get your shoulder to touch your hand, that's fine as well. But that is gonna put a lot more tension and stress on one side or the other, and it's gonna cure any sort of imbalances that you have. So if you find that you're stronger on one side than the other, start doing some arches, and you will find that those imbalances start to disappear. But we're really focusing on getting nice and low, getting a good stretch on the chest, and obviously the triceps as well are working in a unilateral manner. Now again, with these, don't think about the amount of reps, think about the quality of the movement. We want to make sure that we always come back to the starting position. Ideally, I would say work on one side then the other, but you can switch sides if you like in between. So if you work here, push up, then you can switch if you want, but that is going to take more coordination. So if you're just starting off, focus on working one side and then the other. But again, make sure the form is good. The unilateral part of this movement is really going to help develop the chest. Try it out and see. It is, again, a little bit intermediate to advanced, so maybe 1 or 2 reps might be your standard right now. Just try it and see how far you can get, but just maintain that form. Just to show you from an alternate angle, again, hands nice and wide apart. Find where you're comfortable, find where you're strongest. That might look different for everybody. We don't want this arm here bending too much. We want to keep it nice and straight when we come down, and then we're pushing back up. Core tight as well. We don't want the core sagging. For your feet, I would say put them shoulder width apart just to maintain that balance and help you with the movement, because there is a little bit of coordination involved. But you start doing these guys, you're going to see some massive chest development. And so for the final movement I used to develop my chest is decline push-ups. Now, decline push-ups is where you're going to raise your feet onto a surface, can be any sort of surface, chair, bench, sofa, anything, and we're going to perform a push-up. Now with this one, maintaining your body position is going to be a little harder because your core is naturally going to want to sag because your feet are raised. However, we must make sure that we're keeping the core tucked. So just focus on keeping the core tucked a little bit more as you come down. Same thing. Now with the declines, it is going to bias the upper chest a little bit more, just based on the movement pattern. Because we are at a decline, the front shoulder, the upper chest become more involved. However, it's not going to give you the upper chest of the gods just doing this a few times. You do want to do it over a period of time. It is basically the reverse of doing an incline press. So we want to focus on making sure the movement is done correctly, because when we raise our feet, we push more of our body weight. When we're more parallel to the ground, obviously the body weight is going to decrease. But the higher and higher we go, the more body weight we push. So just making sure everything is good, the quality, the tempo, and the reps are good, and we're gonna see results at the end of the day. Now, you don't have to do these all on the same day. You can if you want to. If you're a little bit more experienced and you've got the time to, you can do these all in the same day, these exercises, if you want. However, If you just want to do one on different days, so let's say you're doing 3 upper body sessions a week or 3 whatever sessions a week, you could do the normal ones on one day, you could do the arches on another day, and you could do the declines on another day. Don't feel like you have to cram everything in to try and get the best results. Or you could just do 2. You could pick 2, it's up to you. However, this is free exercise that you can do, requires little to no equipment, apart from something you can raise your foot on. But I'm sure people can find books, bags, anything to raise their foot on, even get a partner to hold your feet to do them. It doesn't matter. But that is how you're going to develop your chest with no equipment, no excuses. Get the job done and look like a god. But I hope you enjoyed watching. Make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.